Upon landing on an alternate version of the Earth, the Doctor, Rose, and Mickey learn that Peter Tyler is apparently alive and well. Lurking in the shadows are creatures made to destroy. One of the Doctor's greatest fears have come true. The Cybermen are reborn! Welcome, friends and companions! This is Enigmatic Joker. How are you today? I'm doing great. I'm doing great. So, sci-fi fantasy fans and all sort of fans meet on this channel for fun chats about their beloved books, movies, series, and franchises. We also talk about food and drinks, music and sport, and a special place on this channel for Doctor Who, my most beloved sci-fi series. Go watch this series till eternity. Unconditional love. Yes, for the Doctor. Yes, yes, yes. Random. Cast will discuss everything that involves entertainment, including movies and series, books, and music. We don't dive deep into religion and politics. Random? Because for podcasts, non-fixed times, actually many different times. Just like the Doctor, who travels through time and space in past, present, and future. And yeah, we have different time zones on in this world. So to meet as much people as possible, this channel has different live streams on different times. So you need to subscribe to this channel to know the time the broadcast is. I want to meet you, yes, and that's the reason I do the live streams on different times. Random also because we have no guest or different guests. It depends on what you join me in a live stream and panel. If you want to join me in a live stream, feel free to contact me via Discord server. You can contact me there and you can put a comment on one of the YouTube videos of this channel. I will look what is possible. And also it's possible to invite me for your channel. I'm available to contribute to your channel and to talk about the things we are interested in. So feel free to invite me for that, for a live stream or panel on your channel. I'm available and enthusiastic. So the Discord server of this channel is called Random Entertainment Channel Tech Doctor Who on Discord, and you find me very quick because I bump the server regularly. So cheers, mate. And lots of fun. Your host, Enigmatic Joker. That's me. That's me. In mystery. Today with a 10 Doctor story. Yes, yes, yes. David Tennant. And this is called Rise of the Cybermen. And as usual, we do first some general info. So, Rise of the Cybermen was the fifth episode of the second series of the 2005 revival series of Doctor Who. Um, Hello, legendary 3D gamer. Um, this live stream is all about an some an analysis and some information about the story and general info, plot, and also will name some continuity in the story. So and it's all about to do with make many people familiar with the Doctor Who and all the stories there are actually. So and yeah, this channel I want to be a place where people meet, where friends will make friends here on this channel, and so most of the time. Uh, uh, Actually, yes, it is a discussion about the rise of the Cybermen of this story. Um, this so there's some interactivity on this channel, so we can talk about the things happening in this story. Um, yes, it's all it's a goal that we have an interactive stream actually, all the time. So yeah, and again, I repeat myself. are people on don't know are familiar with Doctor Who, and so every time I do in random we do some Doctor Who stories and different Doctor incarnations. We have I have different playlists on this channel about different stories of different doctors, also personality and also about companions. So as actually it's a sort of encyclopedia, and yeah, that's a little bit of explanation about how things work on this channel. Um, so let's go. Some Rise of the Cybermen and general info. So again, Rise of the Cybermen was the fifth episode of the second series of the 2005 revival series Doctor Who. And it was the first part of a two-part story. Uh, and this live stream we do only the first part of this two-part story. This next time we go further with the story. But today I'll only the Rise of the Cybermen in the two-part story. So discounting the inactive helmets that appeared in Dalek, this episode served as the formal reintroduction of the Cybermen to the main series, having last appeared in Silver Nemesis in 1989, and that is with the Seventh Doctor Sylvester McCoy. And with his Cybermen sporting and revamped design originating from an alternate universe. And so that's another interesting thing about this whole Cyberman thing, because um, it appears that that the Cybermen are from different universes, and this Cyberman is from the alternate universe, from an alternate universe. This story also featured the first televised appearance of a parallel Earth that would recur through series 2 and 4. Episode 5 served as the episode's prologue and hinting toward the return of the Cybermen, with additional allusions to the presence of a resistance called the Preachers, combating the cyber threat. Head writer Russell T. Davies decided it made little sense that when a cyber foe would inevitably encounter a doctor, for the writers to invent an entirely new cyber race when the Cybermen were already an established success. But nonetheless, Davies, who was aware of the Cybermen that originated in the Doctor's universe, gained a complicated backstory over prior televised serials, decided against building on said backstory. Uh, Instead, he chose to include their creation in a parallel universe. So it's a good solution. Davies felt that the original 1960s fears of organ replacement weren't as relevant for the 21st century. So he instead wanted to focus on the fact that the upgrade of a human into a Cyberman granted people immortality at the cost of making them uniform and emotionless. There's also a link to the DWMSE 14. The story was inspired by Mark Platt's 2002 audio play Spare Parts. Davies decided he wanted the two-parter Rise to Simon and the following The Age of Steel to be loosely adapted from the Big Finish play with a similar feel, just as Series 1's Dalek was adapted from Jubilee. Platt was paid a fee for Tom McRae, reusing the basic concepts of parts, and was given credit for both Rise and Steel. And initial drafts of the parallel Earth story were very close to Mondes' depiction and Spare Parts as quote dying word end quote. Along with inspiration from Spare Parts, writer Tom McRae was supplied the television serials The 10 Planets, The Tomb of the Cybermen. So the 10th planet is from the first Doctor's William Hartnell, Tom Cybermen, second Doctor. Earthshock is from the fifth Doctor, Peter Davison, and the Doctor who is in comic story The Flood and David Banks' Doctor Who Cybermen. So, director Graham Harper was also read Banks' book in preparation for this two-parter, along with the surviving episodes of The Invasion, which Harper's mentor Douglas Camfield directed. And The Invasion is, of course, a story with the second Doctor, Jamie and Zoe as companions. Um, McRae hoped to reimagine the Cybermen not so much as mere villains, but as set figures which he thought could be made terrifying through the notion of victims being upgraded into Cybermen rather than being killed. As such, they were a cross between vampires and zombies. By the way, I like Resident Evil. I have all the DVDs of Resident Evil, and there are also zombies in and vampires. In I like Underworld. There are vampires and werewolves. So I like a cross between vampires and zombies. So this is the concept of the Cybermen. Perfect. So McRae also felt that his desire to make the Cybermen more human and distanced from being straightforward monster villains would have made the species scarier. After being offered the job of reviving and updating the Cybermen as the episode's writer, McRae wanted the Cybermen's backstory to be faithful to the backstory and concept of the original Cybermen from the Doctor's Earth, and also that they couldn't be interchangeable with any other mechanical being. Rise of the Cybermen aired during the 40th anniversary of the 10th planet. The story that introduced the original Cybermen, and that's also, yeah, that's with the first Doctor, first Doctor William Hartnell. It marked the first time a director involved in the 1963-89 series had directed a revival era episode, and as of 2021, Graham Harper remains the only director to do so. Okay, that's some general info. So, spoiler alert, if you haven't and or listened to this story yet, this first part of the story with the Cybermen yet, I highly recommend you do that. And otherwise, you can listen further through this live stream. So yeah, you can always put some comments in the chat, and we can talk about the story. But when there is no comment, I go further with my story. So plot. Okay, let's go. In a laboratory, Dr. Kendrick examines a humanoid metal form and declares it's alive. His wheelchair user boss, John Lumick, expresses his pride in this achievement, but Dr. Kendrick warns him that they must tell the authorities in Geneva about their new development, as it is a new form of life. Lumick informs Kendrick that Geneva will shut down the experiment, but Kendrick still wishes to inform Geneva. Lumick tells the prototype to kill Kendrick, which it does via electrocution. He then tells his staff to set sail for Great Britain. In the TARDIS, Rose and the 10th Doctor are laughing about a prior adventure when the Doctor notices that Mickey is holding a control. The Doctor says he can let go now, and Mickey, annoyed at it being forgotten, does so. Suddenly, there's an explosion and the TARDIS crashes. The entire console room suffers a blackout and all its mechanisms shut down. Gas masks drop down from the ceiling, triggered by the possibility the artificial atmospheric generators have failed. While the trio recovers from the nasty landing, the Doctor dreads to believe what has happened. The TARDIS has fallen out of the time vortex. Worse, he declares the TARDIS is dead. If it has perished, it cannot be fixed. And as the only TARDIS in existence, the TARDIS species is extinct. Rose asks where they've landed, thinking there has to be somewhere. The Doctor tells Rose they've crashed in the void, beyond the universe from which the TARDIS draws energy. Mickey peeks outside the door and remarks, otherwise known as London. At first, it appears they are in their own London until the Doctor notices that there are zeppelins in the sky. Mickey quickly deduces that they must be in a parallel universe. So where things are almost but not quite similar to their universe. Rose quickly identifies one difference to hers. According to a nearby advertisement, her father, Pete, is alive and a very successful businessman marketing a health drink called Vitex. So, meanwhile, in his mansion, Peter Tyler is overseeing preparations for Jackie's birthday party that night when John Lumick calls him using AirPods that he is wearing. Pete thanks Lumick for the birthday present he had sent Jackie, a diamond-studded set of AirPods, the latest model. Lumick tells Peter that his plans have advanced and that he is to meet him that evening for a meeting with the president. After the phone call, Lumick uses the AirPods Jackie is wearing to gain security information for a birthday party, with Jackie none the wiser. He then calls his associate, Mr. Crane, telling him he needs extra staff for his plans. Ooh. So, Crane parks a lorry up near where a group of homeless people are living, telling them that he has food for them in the back of the truck. Jack Simmons witnesses this and tries to stop one man from going into the lorry, reminding him about all the recent disappearances, but to no avail. As the lorry door shuts and Crane drives away, the man cries for help and can be heard. Meanwhile, the Doctor has found a small part of the TARDIS which is still alive, and he gives 10 years of his life to help his ship regenerate, since the energy from the parallel universe won't do. Since this will take around 24 hours, he reluctantly agrees to let his companions explore the parallel Earth. Rose tells him about how her phone automatically connected to the Cybus network and how she looked up the parallel version of her parents, discovering that she doesn't have her own counterpart as the pair have never had kids. She insists she wants to see her father and runs off to do so, the doctor following. After he catches up to her, the doctor and Rose discuss Mickey. Rose telling the doctor about how he was raised by his grandmother after being abandoned by his parents, but she died a few years ago after tripping on a piece of a carpet. Mickey forgot to fix falling down the stairs. As the two realize that they take Mickey for granted, they witness a crowd pause at the AirPods they all wear download information directly into their brains. This advanced technology piques the doctor's interest, and he uses Rose's phone to discover that the AirPods are manufactured by Cybus Industries, who also own Pete's company, Vitex. The doctor reluctantly agrees to attend Jackie's birthday party since the president and many other high profile guests will be there and he may be able to find out more about the pods. Elsewhere, Mick is exploring the parallel London on his own and learns of a curfew from a soldier at a checkpoint. Arriving on Waterton Street, approaches number one and knocks on the door. Immediately, a woman's voice calls out angrily, and the door opens to reveal Rita Ann Smith, his blind grandmother, who is still alive in this universe. Mickey is unable to speak at first, but Rita Ann rants angrily that she will not be kidnapped like the other people, but manages to stammer out a few words that silences Rita Ann. He's delighted to receive a visit from her grandson, whom she calls Ricky, but then starts slapping him for apparently taking off and leaving her, not knowing anything. Nicky notices the carpet on the stairs behind her, the one he was supposed to fix in his own universe, and tearfully remarks that she'll fall and break her neck if it isn't fixed. calling himself useless for not doing it sooner. Rita chides him for talking that way and invites him for a nice cup of tea to settle down. But Mickey is then suddenly abducted from Rita's doorstep by two people in a blue van, Jake and Mrs. Moore. In the van, they chastise Mickey for putting his gran in danger by visiting her, thinking him to be his parallel counterpart. In his Zeppelin, Lumik's meeting with the president is underway, and he announces his newest project, putting the human brain inside a metal exoskeleton. The ultimate upgrade. The president is righteously disgusted and refuses to give Lumik permission to carry out his plans. He leaves the meeting, promising Pete to see him at Jackie's party later. Once they have gone, Lumik calls Crane, who is now controlling the people we had kidnapped via the AirPods. Lumik tells him to start the upgrade, and Crane has the people marching to the conversion chambers, drowning out their agonizing screams of pain with music. Later, later at the Tyler mansion, the Doctor and Rose infiltrate the party disguised as catering staff and try to gain information. Rose is annoyed at posing as a waitress, but the doctor remarks that the staff will know everything and be more forthcoming and unobtrusive than guests. This pays off when Lucy, one of the other waitresses, points out the president of Great Britain to the doctor. Rose, meanwhile, is saddened when she finds from Pete and that he and Jackie's marriage is on the rocks. She starts a friendly conversation with Jackie, but when she remarks that Pete is worth another try, Jackie angrily dismisses her as just the staff. Meanwhile, Jake and Mrs. Moore have taken Mickey to their secret base, only to find Ricky already there, leading them to restrain and interrogate Mickey. They tell him that they are the Preachers, a team who have been investigating Cyber's industries with the help of an inside agent. Their contact has just advised that a group of upgrades is leaving the Cyber's factory. The Resistance head off to tail the Cyber's truck, taking Mickey with them. Meanwhile, the Doctor infiltrates Pete's office and peruses the Cybus Industries files, trying to learn something. The name Cybus and emphasis on cybernetics and brains clicks in his mind and he realizes something with horror. At that moment, Lumix upgrades arrive, and the Doctor recognizes them as a new form of Cybermen. Right as he does so, one of the great plate glass windows shatters as a Cyberman puts its fist through it. More Cybermen flood into the house, herding the guests and staff together into one room as Lumik contacts the president over his AirPods. The president seems unsurprised at the development but demands to know who the Cybermen were before Lumik did this to them. Lumik states they were homeless people that he has granted new life to and signs off, leaving the Cybermen in charge. One Cyberman steps forward and announces that they have been upgraded into the next level of humanity, promising the same for all British citizens. The president sincerely apologizes for what has happened to them, with several of the guests looking saddened as well, and declares that he will not allow Lumix experiments to continue. The Cyberman remarked that upgrading is compulsory, and the president repeatedly asks what happens if he refuses despite the doctor's warnings. To which the Cyberman responds that he will be deemed incompatible, and then they lead it. The one who spoke then grabs the president by the neck and blew electricity, the same as killed Dr. Kendrick, flares from its hand and around his head as he sinks to the floor, dead. The guests and staff panic at the murder and scatter in all directions as the Cybermen begin killing them. Rose, the doctor, and Pete manages to get outside, where they meet up with Mickey and the preachers. But Ricky and Jake's guns are useless against Cybermen, who surround them. The doctor tries to surrender, claiming he volunteers for the upgrade, but the Cybermen refuse. As rogue elements, they are to perish under maximum deletion. So, and that's, my friends and companions, is the end of this first part story, Rise of the Cybermen. So, to be continued. Uh, the continuation of this two-part will be in the present or in the future. So, that's it for the moment. So the cast members are the Doctor, played by David Tennant, Rose Tyler, played by Billie Piper, Jackie Tyler, played by Camille Coduri, Mickey Smith, played by Noel Clarke, Pete Tyler is played by Sean Dingwall, John Lumick is played by Roger Lloyd Peck, Jack Simmons is played by Andrew Hayden Smith, the President is played by Don Warrington, Rita Ann is played by Mona Hammond, Mrs. Moore is played by Helen Griffin, and Mr. Crane is played by Colin Spall. Dr. Kenrick is played by Paul Anthony Barber. Morris is played by Adam Shaw. Soldier is played by Andrew Fondo. Newsreader is played by Duncan Duff. Cyber Leader is played by Paul Casey. And the Cyber Voice is voiced by the famous Nicholas Briggs. Some uncredited cast, by the way. Ricky Smith is played by Noel Clarke. Yeah. Some world building in the story. A group of Cybermen is designated Platoon 02. Species, the destruction of the Time Lords made it near impossible to cross between universes. Interesting note. About individuals, 5 things. Veronica of Reykjavik and made flower sculptures for Jackie's 39th birthday. Jackie has an autobiography out, stating she was born on the same day as Cuba Gooding Jr. A third thing in the individuals is that Jackson Smith was the father of Mickey Smith. He was a key cutter of Clifton's parade. He went to Spain and never came back. So background story with Mickey. So fourth thing is that Lucy is one of the serving staff at Jackie's party, and Stevie is a guest at Jackie's party who works for Torchwood. Torchwood. A spin-off of Doctor Who. Also Torchwood. But is other Torchwood. Vehicles. This more suggests that Jackie's father could have had a bike. And something in technology. Jackie's AirPods can pick up signals from Venezuela. Second thing is that Mrs. Moore suggests that Cybers Industries could have perfected human cloning. Third thing is that Synapse is part of the conversion process. And the fourth thing, technology, is that a daily download is a news service in this story. Via AirPods. So foods and beverages, 5 things. Doctor compares the parallel world to a gingerbread house. Second thing is that Mickey's grand offers him a cup of tea. Third thing is salmon pinwheels are served at the party by Lucy. Fourth thing is Rose serves champagne at Jackie's party, and Rose says that her real mom takes 2 sugars in her tea. Then some things in Pete's world. Pete is the quote parallel father of Rose. 2 things in Pete's world is that Mickey's granny lives on Waterton Street and Torchwood is mentioned by Pete. So also in alternate universe, in parallel universes, there Torchwood active. And the last thing in world building in influences is that the Art Deco design was inspired by Metropolis and the Hofer building in Perivale, which opened in 1933. And Perivale is also linked to Ace, by the way. Ace, Seventh Doctor Companion. Some story notes. Early reports erroneously gave the title of this story as Rise of the Cybermen. Parallel was also considered. And second thing is that this is the first episode of 2005 version of the Doctor Who to be directed by Graham Harper, the only director of the 1963 version of the show to direct for revival. I've already mentioned that, but it is also interesting to note that Graham Harper is available for that. Um, The third thing is that it is the first episode in which the Doctor breaks the tradition of wearing white plimsolls with his brown suit, red plimsolls with his blue suit, and black plimsolls with his black suit, by wearing black ones with his brown suit. This occurs again later in the Impossible Planets, Love and Monsters and Fear Her, in which she wears the same combination as in this episode. Another thing interesting note is that according to Russell T Davies, the fact that Jackie has her 40th birthday in this episode was a deliberate, if obscure, reference to the fact that Rise of the Cybermen occurred in the 40th anniversary year of the 10th planet. Another thing is that fifth thing is that it's cool because shared the first regular television story not to feature any extraterrestrial elements other than the Doctor and the TARDIS since Black Orchid. Black Orchid is a fifth Doctor story, Peter Davison. Depending on how one defines extraterrestrial, Warriors of the Deep. Um, that is with Fifth Doctor, Tegan and Turlough. And The Girl in the Fireplace is with also 10th Doctor. Both featured scenes in space, but contain nothing of non-earthly origin. Additionally, Radio Times plays Paradise Towers on Earth. It's with the 7th Doctor, Sylvester McCoy. However, the story itself, while never definitely stating either way, strongly implies otherwise. Another interesting note is that on a somewhat trivial note, the story reintroduces Cybermen's iconic teardrop motif after a 31-year absence. This aspect of their design had last appeared in 1975's TV Revenge of the Cybermen with the fourth Doctor Tom Baker, having been present on their faces since 1968's The Wheel in Space with the second Doctor Patrick Troughton. All Cybermen appearances from 1982's TV Airshock, that's with the fifth Doctor Peter Davison, to 1988's TV story Silver Nemesis with the seventh Doctor Sylvester McCoy, featured the Cybermen sporting their original circular eye holes. The teardrop motif would reappear in all future Cybermen designs as of the Series 12, bar the recreated Mondesian Cybermen and their prototypes from Series 10. Of course, they said that 10 Series 10 and Series 12 with the era of Peter Capaldi, 12th Doctor. No, SIS. Um, um, that's that's the 14th Doctor, Series 12. Yes, and 10 Series 10 is Peter Capaldi, and Series 11 and 12 is the 13th Doctor Jodie Whittaker. So another thing is that as early drafts of this story featured body shops where wealthy people purchased new cybernetic limbs. University Davis vetoed this element because he found it unbelievable. He also instructed Tom McRae to tone down the difference between the parallel universe versions of characters and their real universe counterparts. Quote, I think it was one of the world's great lessons about the freedom of science fiction, as well as its greatest dangers, because when you're creating a parallel world, you suddenly get excited by saying everyone can wear eye patches. Another thing is that according to Graham Harper on the episode's commentary, the pre-credits sequence was written by Russell T Davies, as he was not satisfied with the original opening, which spent Tara's scene through the rows finding the Vitex advertisement. We want to hint at the nature of the reimagined Cybermen earlier. Um, okay. Another thing is that Mickey sports a large tattoo on his right bicep. According to Noel Clark's commentary, the tattoo was makeup applied for the episode. Another thing is that Art Deco look of the 2006 Cyberman design follows that from real time. According to the episode commentary, Grim Harper wanted an Art Deco feel to parallel universe Earth. Art Deco costumes had previously been used for the K1 robot in Robot in Fourth Doctor Story, the first Fourth Doctor Story, and for much of the cast, including robots in the Robots of Death. And that is also with the Fourth Doctor and Leela. Another thing is that unlike the two-part stories from 2005 series, that this episode features no next time trailer for the next episode, only a title card reading "To be continued." The first time the phrase has ever been used to end an episode in the program's history. The production team had stated previously that one episode in this series was so long that there was no time for a preview. Many viewers and Steve Moffat had criticized the use of a preview for World War III as it spoiled the dramatic cliffhanger ending. Beginning with the Impossible Planet trailers for the second part of stories were run during the middle eight after the main credits to allow viewers time to switch off. So, very nice. Um, Roger Lloyd Peck and David Tennant previously worked together in a Harry Potter and a Goblet of Fire, playing father and son, Barty Crouch Sr. and Barty Crouch Jr., respectively. Another thing that Roger Lloyd Peck told the Daily Mirror that he based the character of Lumic on Donald Rumsfeld. I thought, who is a power-hungry mad person who believes he's completely right, has a lot of control. And Donald Rumsfeld came to mind, and he is as Batman as I see around now. Oh, wow, whatever. Um, an additional picture was Esme, a heart. An additional preacher was Esme Hart abandoned former's Green Beret, and this character survived to the audition stage. One of the actresses who read her part was Freema Agaiman. However, Esme was dropped when it was felt that her presence made the preacher seem too capable, as opposed to a group of well-intentioned amateurs who were out of their depth. Um, Another thing that John Lumick was originally a young businessman named Jacob Lumik, who had replaced some of his body parts with cybernetic attachment as part of his quest to have save humanity from uh, uh, deadly disease. With a global pandemic eliminated due to the altered conception, Simon Lumik's new motivation was to cure his dying father. Finally, the son's role was essentially taken over by Mr. Crane. Originally, the time rotor of the TARDIS was shattered at the start of the story, an effect ruled out on the grounds of cost. Another thing is that initial drafts of the two-parter imagined the AirPods as temple implants. It was later scrapped as the plot required devices that could be removed. Additionally, concerns were raised about the similarities with the Stargate SD1 episode revisions, which had broadcast 3 years prior. And by the way, I have all the DVDs of Stargate. I'm Stargate fan. Stargate SG1, Stargate, uh, call it Atlantis, Stargate Universe, and all the movies of Stargate. So, yeah, also a passion, Stargate. So Russell T. Davies explained on Doctor Who Confidential that the idea of AirPods was inspired by how common Bluetooth earpieces were at the time. Now thinks that Tom McRae initially hewed fairly closely to spare parts by setting his serial on a dying Earth, where the Cybermen came into existence when efforts to save humanity from a terrible plague were taken to extreme lengths. However, Rusty Davis was concerned that his approach was effectively still rooted in the mid 1960s and anxiety about body part replacement. The paranoia which had originally inspired the Cybermen, but was now what was now outdated. So, yeah. Every time has its own things, and some things in time are from a time or from influence to the writing of the stories. Yeah. So Tom McRae visits the counterparts of Mickey, Jackie, and Pete as diverging far more from their familiar portrayals, but Rusty Davies encouraged him to scale this back. Other things that Pete's code name was originally Puck in reference to a Midsummer Night's Dream. It then became Janus after the two-faced god of beginnings and endings in Roman mythology. His eventual sobriquet, Gemini, was the Latin word for twins, most commonly used in reference to the Greco-Roman gods Castor and Pollux. Another thing is that although some thought was given to keeping the Simon's traditional chest unit, Tom McRae suggested replacing it with a stabilized Simon's Industries logo. As design drawings were developed for new Simon, Rusty Davis was particularly adamant that they should eschew the silver giant label often applied to the monsters in the past. Viewing silver as a flimsy material, you prefer to think of the Siren as made of steel. On the other hand, he was eager to retain certain elements from previous Cybermen designs, particularly the handlebar ears and the teardrop eyes. Another thing is that shortly before filming again, Roger Lloyd Peck broke his ankle in a fall down flight of stairs. Fortunately, the Lumic role had already been scripted as being entirely wheelchair bound, meaning that Lloyd Peck's injury could not interfere with his performance. While filming in London, Graham Harper discovered some unused helicopter footage of the city, which had been recorded for Aliens of London / World War III, meaning that he could save the expense of another flyover. Now, thanks to filming, the time sequences was delayed by rain, and last story noticed that the scene of Jake filming Mr. Crane abducting homeless people had a cut portion where Mr. Crane spots Jake, walks up to him, and threatens him. And last thing is the continuity. Because again, in the universe, stories and episodes are to some extent related to each other, linked to each other, referencing to each other, and influence to each other. And every time I watch uh, uh, rewatch stories and episodes, Doctor Who, I discover new things, and all this, by the way, always an interpretation from the fan. But six things, and that is um, coincidentally, Ricky was an incorrect name. The Doctor deliberately called Mickey to annoy him in TV story Aliens of London, World War III, and Boomtown. It's with the ninth Doctor, Christopher Eccleston. The second thing is that the Doctor has traveled to parallel universes before. You see that in TV story Inferno, the third Doctor, John Pertwee. Battlefield Prose, The Shadows of Avalon, and Bloodheat. Third thing is that Prose, Loving the Alien, featured an alternate Earth where humanity embraced cyber technology. A fourth thing is that in Doctor's universe, the Cybermen were not created on Earth, but on the Earth's twin planet Mondas in TV story The Tenth Planet. Um, a fifth thing is that Rose is using a new superphone, Samsung D500 model. She was previously last seen owning a Nokia 3200. This is TV story School Reunion. And the last thing in the continuity is that when Rose is looking at the Zeppelin with her phone on the a news reporter mentions Torchwood as does Peter later at a party. And that is linked to TV story Christmas Invasion, Tooth and Claw et al. And that, my friends and companions, is all I have to say about this first part story, Rise of the Cybermen. And in another time, we will do the next story, the second part of this story. Uh, the Age of Steel. But that will be in the past, present, or future. So here comes the commercial. Sci-Fi Fantasy fans meet on this channel for fun chats about their beloved books, movies, series, and franchises. We also talk about food and drinks, music and sport, and a special place on this channel for Doctor Who. Doctor Who. Random Cause we discuss everything that involves entertainment, including movies and series, books, and music. Random Cause we broadcast non-fixed times, actually many different times. You need to subscribe to this channel to know what time the broadcast is. Random also because we have no guests or different guests. Depends what you join me in live stream panel. If you want to join me in live stream, feel free to contact me via Discord server, Random Entertainment channel, and or you can put a comment on one of the under one of the videos, and we'll look what is possible. And also, it's possible invite me for your channel. I'm available to contribute on your channel in live stream panel and to talk about things we're interested in, we're passionate about, enthusiastic about. So feel free to invite me for that. I'm available for panel on your channel. Make friends. So the Discord server is called Random Entertainment Channel. Tag Doctor Who on Discord and invite me very quick because I bumped the server regularly. So cheers, mate. Have lots of fun. This is your host, Enigmatic Joker. Yes, yes. So I'm looking forward to meet you. See you next time. Have a nice day. Bye bye. Bye bye.